Just take one step back so as don't appear to force your way in. Thanks for opening the door to your household. My name is Alan from the People Helping People SOS team. This is my associate. We work together to help build our own SOS team following us. And we want to extend peace to this household. Real peace does not mean a place where there is no noise, trouble, or work. It means being in the midst of all of these things and still have peace in your heart. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift of God, which is why we call it the present. And that's why we would like to present this gift to you. Will you accept it? The path to peace. We can have a physical copy in our hand. If you're watching online, you just click on this image and you can get a free PDF copy of it. As I said before, my name is Alan, and your name is? If you extend an open hand and smile, most people are courteous enough to give you their name, which is important because they will listen more intensively to what you have to say. Seeing you've been gracious enough to open this PowerPoint presentation, for the purpose of illustration, we'll call you Grace. Grace, here is my card. The good news is that our SystemofSuccessTeam.com can help you build your own dreams so that you don't spend the rest of your life only building someone else's dream, not knowing if you have an income source tomorrow. You can save yourself time, energy, money, and stress when you become a chief leveraging officer of your own People Helping People SOS team. And then you can have graces.systemofsuccessteam.com to share, for people can go online and watch this presentation. But seeing as we're here on your doorstep, may we sit down together and go through it and so we can answer any questions you may have. May we do that for you? May we? Or if you want to go online, may we please have your email address so we can send you the link to watch this YouTube online. And if we've got your phone number, here's our phone number. You can ring us if you've got any questions. May we ring you just to check? Grace, they say that love is more important than money. But have you ever tried to pay your bills with a hug? It doesn't quite work, does it? Shake your head and laugh. It's a great joke. Everyone will agree. And when we have too much month left over at the end of the money, it can cause us to lay awake at night worrying about it. We all want to be happy. Happiness depends on our health and our relationships. And financial problems cause stress, which affects our health and our relationships. True, nod your head and smile. Everyone will agree with you. Here's a famous quote by Zig Ziglar, who's resting in the Lord now. He says, money isn't the most important thing in life, but it's reasonably close to oxygen on the gotta have it scale. Isn't that the truth? You know, money is a terrible master, but a great servant. Would you agree with that? Well, the good news, Grace, is that with the attitude of gratitude, we have the opportunity of breaking through the barriers that seem to hinder us and work where we want, when we want, with who we want, earn as much as we want, to help as many people as we want, and have more tax deductions than an employee will ever have. What do you think of that? It's not happiness that brings us gratitude. It's gratitude that brings us happiness. Gratitude enables us to see everything in a whole new, empowering light. Be thankful and we'll understand how truly rich we already are and how much more richness we can now create. But being thankful for the situation does not mean we approve of the situation, nor does it mean we have to stay in that situation. If we're not thankful, we become resentful. Which would you prefer? I know it makes a huge difference to the way we feel when we're thankful, rather than resentful, dwelling on the problems instead of the promises. See, gratitude makes sense of the past. You might say, why should I be grateful if you're focused on the problems? Look at this, look at that. But if we have learned to be grateful, it creates a vision for tomorrow, because we know we can, no matter what happens tomorrow, we can be grateful. And it gives us peace for today. Real success is not a matter of mere popularity or possessions. Being truly rich comes from living with authentic purpose and meaning in every moment. Napoleon Hill studied 500 successful people, rich people, over 20 years, and he discovered 12 characteristics of real riches. The SOS team is people helping people grow as people who have wealthier thoughts to bless more people. Number 1 on the list was a positive mental attitude. Number 2, he discovered, was sound physical health. And oftentimes our attitude can affect our health. If we're stressed out about things and worried about things, it will affect our health. And the third thing is harmony in human relations. It's not good for man or woman to live alone. God wants us to work together. Number 4 is freedom from fear. That's false evidence appearing real. Or another one is forgetting everything is all right. Number 5, the hope of future achievement. Don't let anybody tell you you're hopeless. We need to have hope. Number 6, the capacity for applied faith. There's 2 ways to do that. Forsaking all, I trust him, with full assurance in the heart, are 2 more acronyms for faith. Fear and faith are twins. We might as well believe the good is going to happen. Number 7, willingness to share one's blessings with others. Number 8 on the list, to be engaged in the labour of love. Number 9, an open mind on all subjects towards all people. Number 10, complete self-discipline, something they all seem to achieve. Number 11, wisdom with which to understand and value people. And people are more important than money. Serve enough people and the money will come. Note, if you will, number 12 on the list is financial security. That's not being controlled by time or money. Freedom.
Do you ever feel like you're backpedaling even though you're following the rules? You work long hours, tolerate your boss, you get an annual raise, and you try to save money and budget wherever you can.
Clearly, you're working the known system for financial success, but something is very wrong.
The rules are not working. The system is broken down.
You're barely making ends meet, let alone getting ahead.
And retirement? Forget it. You're living day by day. You want to build financial security and wealth, but it's just not happening.
So where exactly has playing by the rules gotten you?
If you can change your outlook, change some of your values, and change your rules, you'll find there's a whole other set of rules out there that are more conducive for people who want to be rich.
Financial expert, educator, successful investor, and best-selling author Robert Kiyosaki is about to give you the information you need to implement a realistic, achievable plan of building and growing wealth.
Kiyosaki is the New York Times best-selling author of, among other books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
To date, the series has sold 20 million plus copies worldwide. Today, Kiyosaki shares his revolutionary wisdom with you, just as his rich dad shared it with him.
It's information that can take you from working for money to your money working for you.
Information that can set you free.
The story of Rich Dad, Poor Dad is really a story of two different fathers with two different sets of values and completely different sets of advice. So I don't mean to insult anybody or, to damage your values, but really that was the difference. For example, my poor dad always said, go to school, get good grades, get a high-paying job, work hard, live below your means, save money, get out of debt, have a good retirement plan. And that was my poor dad's values. My rich dad said, you probably won't get rich doing that way because very few people get rich following that plan. If you take a look at this 40-year run on the dollar is designed economically to lose money every single year. So why would you save something that loses money every year? And what this means for somebody on retirement plans is that after you retire, the value of your dollar goes down and your cost of living keeps going up. To my rich dad, that was bad advice and made no sense. Again, it was different values. An important diagram my rich dad showed me when I was a little boy was a diagram known as a cash flow quadrant. And the quadrant is made up of the 4 different people who make up the world of business. So my rich dad said, in the world of business, there's E's. And E's stand for employees. An employee, he says, you can always tell who they are by their core values. And what the employee, whether the president or the janitor of the company, will always say the same words. The words are, I'm looking for a safe, secure job with benefits. That's what makes them an employee, because their core values are security. The other one of the 4 is the S, or the small business owner or the self-employed. And again, their core values will cause them to use the same words, which are, if you want it done right, do it by yourself. S means they're also solo. They're generally one-person act, or they operate by themselves. On the right side of the quadrant are the B's. And what Rich Dad said the B stood for was big business, or like Bill Gates. Forbes defines big business as 500 employees or more. And their words are different. They say, I'm looking for a good system, a good network, and the smartest people I know to help run my business. So they're unlike the S. They don't want to run the company by themselves. They want smart people to run their companies for them. And then the 4th of the quadrant is the I, and I stands for investor. These are people who have money work hard for them. These people are people who have people work hard for them. And these are the people that work hard for the rich here. So early on in my life, it was my poor dad who always said to me, Robert, go to school and get a high-paying job. And so my poor dad's core value was to be an employee. He wanted job security, promotions, a steady paycheck, and all this. And so it was my rich dad who said to me, he says, Robert, if you really want to be rich, learn to build businesses. It made more sense to him to work hard to build a business, something you owned, and something you could pass on for generation to generation to your kids. Whereas my poor dad said work hard, but my rich dad said, why would you work hard for something you'll never own and you can get fired from right away? Again, that was the difference in values. So my rich dad suggested I learn how to be a business owner and learn how to be an investor. And that's one of the big differences. On this side of the quadrant, these people here work for security. They work for money also. On this side over here, their key value that they want is they want freedom. They don't want to have to work at a job anymore. They don't want to have to work for the rest of their lives. So the beauty of building a business and learning how to invest is very simply that this is passive income. You work hard for a few years, but possibly for the rest of your life, income keeps flowing to you. One of the reasons I consider a direct selling business a perfect business is very simply because the company will work with you to get the business skills that make you rich. Always remember that it's not money that makes you rich, it's business skills. And that's why it's a perfect business. They'll take as long as you like to get the skills to make the money. And that's a lifetime skill thing. The other part about it is the low startup costs. Where else can you get in for under $500 and get these skills? For people who want to make the shift over to the B quadrant, which is what I would recommend for people, one of the beauties of a network marketing company is that you can do that for a very low price. And that's why I talk to people about considering network marketing. If you're to build a Microsoft, it would take you hundreds of millions of dollars. But a network marketing company allows you to start at a very low rate. They'll be patient with you. They'll take their time to transition over here. And the reason why that time is so important to most people is it takes time to change those values. And the most important thing is once you take the time, let's say it takes 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever time it takes, once you see the value or the core values of this side and this side, you're unstoppable. Today, I would never go back and get a job. Why should I? I'd rather stay on this side, build companies, pay less taxes, and make more money. But the key is a person needs to change the values from my poor dad to the values of my rich dad. And that's one of the beauties of network marketing companies. They allow you the time, and at very low cost, they'll work with you to make that transition over there. The number one asset a person can build is build a business. That is the smartest thing you can do. Years ago, I decided not to follow the corporate ladder simply because, again, it was values. You know, my poor dad always said, go to school and get a high-paying job with the government or a big corporation. But my rich dad said, why would you work so hard at something you'll never own? You can't sell your job. You can't pass it on to your kids. So to me, it never made any sense. It made more sense to build my own business and hire other people. The other reason is that you really don't have much control if you're in the corporate ladder world. For example, you can get fired at any time. Or today we have what's called M&As, or mergers and acquisitions, where another company buys another company. So you could be a great employee, but the company that buys your company just fires you. Not a get-rich-quick formula. You don't just do it overnight. It takes time. I still remember the first time I made that transition was back in 1978 when I fully quit my job and I had to depend upon my company that I was building to support me. So I understand the fear. The beauty. The most important thing to remember is this. There's two kinds of people in the world. There are the types that will say, you'll never make it. And I had a lot of friends and family saying that. You're stupid. Don't do it. And the second type were the people that said, go for it. You can do it. Don't worry about it. We'll cover you. So the most important thing is support of friends and family. One of the beauties of a direct selling company is that they provide that personal support to you for as long as it takes you to make the journey from the left side to my rich dad side. One of the challenges of being self-employed is that you're your own boss. You're the solo act. Like in the S quadrant, you're the individual. You do it on your own. Whereas in the B quadrant, you're a team player. You have to depend upon your team and count on your team. So the problem with being an S is that, let's say you're in a traffic accident, there goes your income. And let's say you get older and you haven't set enough money aside to retire on, that means you'll probably have to work for the rest of your life because you don't have anybody else to fall back on, not a team to count on. So one of the problems with the S, although most people say it's the most satisfying of all work, it is a solo act and you're totally on your own. Personally, I'd rather be a member of a team if they can count on me and I can count on them. We all know the world has changed, but sometimes the hardest thing to change is ourselves. And being an old guy, I sort of know the older I get, I sometimes get more set in my ways. And I think that's one of the things that a direct selling business offers people, why it's the perfect business. They allow you to take your time to make the mental, emotional, and physical changes required to move from the left side to the rich dad side. And I think that's a big thing. It's a very gracious, it's a very elegant way, it's a patient way of supporting you in making the changes of your life. So please remember, change always creates upset, but sometimes we all know we have to make those changes. And if you know it's time for you to make that change, then the perfect business may be a direct selling business for you.
Robert Kiyosaki reminds us we go to school for reading, writing and arithmetic, our academic education. We leave school, we get professional education in either a trade or university to be a doctor or a lawyer, but we get very little, if any, financial education. We're educated to work for money, work more, earn more. We don't get caught up in job mergers and redundancy. Along the way, inflation is destroying the value of your income. It's called inflation, but it's really the devaluation of the US dollar that all the countries are following. When it was tied to gold, it did actually increase in value. But when President Nixon took the gold standard off, it's just been decreasing in value as they keep printing more money. So savers are losers. We need to hedge our money with something that increases in value and not decreases. But of course, everyone wants to avoid illness, poverty and despair. However, the statement "I'll never be rich" can be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Most people with a job are living payday to payday, just over broke. Jump out of bed to pay our monthly bills, starting on the journey of the broke. Getting paid just enough to stop us from quitting and working hard enough to stop us from getting fired. Not reaching our full potential with too many income consuming assets and not enough income producing assets. The question is your cash flowing in the wrong direction? The poor and the middle class work for money to acquire more things. This little fellow here is very observant. He's observed that people work their butt off in school to get an education. They leave college with mounds of debt, continue to work their butt off with a job making someone else rich. So he's decided at an early age he wants to be an entrepreneur, even though he can't spell it. But people are our biggest asset. And if we don't build our own dreams, someone will hire us to build theirs. Entrepreneurs don't work for money. They work to build assets and have time and money work for them. If ships were to leave port and not have anyone to steer them towards a target destination or a goal, they would travel aimlessly around with the current and probably end up on some rocky shore. True? So until we learn how the dollar works, we can only work for it. But when we learn, we can put the dollar to work for us and overcome too little time and too little money. It's very stressful. So the key is leverage. What's the bottom line? The bottom line is the only way to improve our financial situation is to spend less on things that depreciate and more on assets, or earn more. Reciprocal income is a reciprocal arrangement we make when we exchange things or our knowledge, skills and attitude for money. It's a balancing act. But we don't get paid for the hour. If that were true, we wouldn't even have to go to work, would we? No, we get paid for the value that we put into the hour, and the marketplace determines how much value that hour or thing is worth. It is immediate for things, but we may have to wait a week or a fortnight or a month for our time, depending on when payday is. It's predictable, but it's limited and it's time dependent, and it's never enough to spend more than we receive, like the banks encourage us to do, because there's only 168 hours in a week, and that's the limit on our reciprocal income, no matter how much we're worth. If we only trade our time for money, we'll always have a visual emotional limit to both our time and our money. True? The facts are, if we keep doing the same thing the same way over and over again under the same circumstances, it will produce the same set of results that will always remain constant.
Is this situation here the best choice for us? With self-effort alone, the fulcrum is in the middle. We're hoping for luck, labouring under conditions known, always trying to get the balance between time and money right. Control of the fulcrum is the key. See, a step in the wrong direction is better than staying on the spot all your life. Once you're moving forward, you can correct your course as you go. And then your automatic guidance system, just remember, your automatic guidance system can't guide you while you're standing still. Much easier to steer the car when it's moving. Plane has to reach a certain speed before it can take off. What do we really know? Well, we know how to spend money. We don't have to teach you how to do that, do we? Question is your cash flowing in the wrong direction? And the second thing is we know how to spread the word about a good deal. Unfortunately, sometimes bad news travels faster. If we've had a bad experience, we tell people about that, not necessarily the good experiences we've had and the good products that we've been using. And we also know how to work hard, not smart. So ask yourself, will the people you know, will we ourselves ever stop needing to improve our knowledge, our skills and our attitude about what we spend our money on so that we can work together to shift the pivot point and eventually work less time yet earn more money? See, we can't work 168 hours in the week. We've already established that. But we can overcome this reciprocal time limit with leveraged passive income. It has unlimited potential, but as you can see, the results are delayed. So our target has to be higher than our survival income needs. The SOS team is people helping people learn to communicate the good news about passive income growth. We can work together and how to teach to leverage our time and our money. Les Brown says, people don't fail because they aim too high and miss, but because they aim too low and hit the target. And if we aim at nothing, we'll hit it every time, true? We invite you to change your thinking from poor dad employee mentality, working for money, minding someone else's business, to rich dad entrepreneur mentality and have our money work for us. But when you learn, teach, and when you get, give. Our feeder program, BDC Champ, doesn't compete, but rather complements any other program you may be involved with. Just need to fill out your details on this page to go to the next page to see how our feeder program can help make this graph work for you.